Amigos de Match FM, ¿cómo están? Yo soy Natalia Guerrero. Estamos listos para platicar con Mehro porque está a 3-2-1 de terminar su gira y esa última parada es la Ciudad de México. Así es que, Mehro, welcome back to Match FM. I'm Natalia, and I'm so glad to get to talk to you because I've heard great things about you here on Match because you got the chance to talk with Miguel,
Mhm.
you know, and when you came, and I've also heard your music, read your lyrics. I've seen you on internet, and I sense that you're such an insightful young man, and that you're not afraid about talking about your feelings and show yourself vulnerable. What I sense is that you're like a kind of old soul, you know. And my question is my Mehro X-ray quite accurate or not that much? Because I want to get to know you a little bit better.
I would love to get to know you too. I think you have a very kind spirit, warm spirit, and I like you. So I would like to get to know you too. I think I think that you're pretty spot on. I think being sensitive, I'm very sensitive, and I'm not afraid to express how I'm feeling. And I think coming from the masculine side of the energetic field, sometimes that's repressed, or sometimes that's not welcomed as much. And I think it's important to say exactly how you feel in the kindest way possible and the most direct way possible. So everybody has a different balance. I think that you hit it right on the head. I'm glad that Miguel had nice things to say. What did he say?
He said that you were so talented and that you have like this kind spirit, you know, that you were like so that it was so easy to be with you.
Oh, that's very sweet. I felt the same way about him.
Oh,
So
that's great.
that's good. I think he's wonderful. I think that you did a good job. I don't know, I'm not in on the belief of new souls and old souls. I don't know how I feel
Okay.
about that. But anytime somebody calls me an old soul, I know that it's a beautiful thing being said, and I appreciate that. It means a lot.
Okay. Well, and I said all those things because I have noticed that through your music, you read like almost in a therapeutic way, you know, like if it's like a therapy for you. I sense that. And but I was thinking, what has your music or your writing taught you about yourself?
Mm. Just how sensitive I am.
Okay.
I'm incredibly sensitive. And when people are sensitive, they over dramatize their memories, because they believe that it was a bigger experience than it actually was, because you're
Mm-hmm.
seeing it super heightened, super close up, super zoomed in. I never thought about what sensitivity is like, but sensitivity is essentially seeing life in a super zoomed in lens. Are you sensitive? Are you a sensitive person?
Yes, I'm quite sensitive, but I knew a person who was like super sensitive. It's my boyfriend. He's super sensitive, you know, and he has taught me how to be like more empathic and more how to calm down a little bit because I like to do, you know, I like to be like in a rush or something. And he's like, hey, just stop. Feel your heart, feel your body. How does your emotions feel? And we've done a pretty good balance, you know, and sensitivity, what I've learned in my life and through him is that em- to be empathic is like the key to love and to a better world. That's what I've learned this 2025, you know, because I've been also in a journey, as you've
Yes.
been in a journey, like because I want to get to your tour, you know. But yes, I like to be sensitive because I think is that if you're aware of yourself, you can be aware of what's surrounding you, isn't it?
We're, I
And I
think,
was, yeah, come on.
no, please, please.
And I was like listening to your music. Actually my favorite song of yours is Lightning. I know it's a little bit old, but I love it. So I love so much of that song. And what I've sensed through your music and through your lyrics is that they're quite like confessions, as if you were like confessing yourself. And I was wondering, how do you decide which parts of you to get down into your music and to your writing, and which parts of yourself you like to reserve for yourself? I don't know if I'm to keep for yourself.
I think I've never thought of this. I have to just trust my intuition with these things. But you have to, it's a specificity of spirit without a specificity of detail. Does that make sense? So it's describing a specific feeling, describing a specific experience to where you can see it and you can feel it. But the details of that experience, that's kind of where the privacy lies. You know what I mean? I could write a song about my home without telling you the address.
Yeah, and I get it. I perfectly get it, because details has as you say, addresses, names, so more detailed things. And feelings are like universal.
Mm-hmm.
We share the same feelings, but we feel the feelings in a different way. I don't know if that makes sense to you.
You're probably right. I feel the feelings in a different way. I can't. Perhaps that's what it is. Perhaps it's a different concoction of love and pain and anger and
Anger.
you know, like we're all different cocktails. We're all different. We have different amounts of alcohol, different amounts of
Feelings.
Yes, yes, yeah. And I think it sounds like this lover of yours, is your boyfriend, is a very good person to have in your life.
Mm.
To me.
Yeah, he is. He's such a wonderful guy. He's been through a lot, as we all been through a lot. And he has and he has had the time, or he has gave himself the time to cope with his feeling, and we don't want to talk about my lover or my boyfriend, Mehro. We wanted to talk about you. And
I'm done to talk about whatever we want to talk about. I think it's a beautiful thing that you feel this way about somebody. Of course we can talk about me, but it's a wonderful thing that somebody's able to if anybody in your life is making you more present and making you more centered, wow,
it's valuable.
That's priceless.
Yeah.
That's
And talking about feelings, I said this because I'm not used to people to make me the questions, because of my job. I'm used to make you guys, the artists, the questions. So it's like kind of funny, to have this conversation, but it's nice, to try to get to know us better. And talking about emotions, I like to talk to you guys, artists, because I admired your job when I was a little girl. I wanted to be like an actress or maybe a musician, but I never learned how to play the piano, But now, after 15 years being on the radio and talking to you guys, I like to talk with the person behind the artist, because I really think that your work is not like a job, maybe it's like a hobby or a way of living. And because if we, as a fan of your music, listen carefully on what you wrote, we can get to know you a little bit better, and to get to know where were you emotionally when you were writing those songs. And I wanted to know, and if you could share to us, where were you emotionally when creating your latest album?
Weird
because
problem.
because where what I've heard is that you were like sonically speaking, you were like doing kind of something different, because it was not what I was used to your music. I don't know, it like you took a risk.
Yes.
So where were you emotionally, Mehro?
Where the heck was I? I think I'm trying to think where. I think this was really an album written from exploration, which I never I've never put into words before. I never realized that. But a lot of these songs were written in unusual places for me.
Okay.
So, Lifesaver was written in London, for example.
Mhm.
Sewers was written in a green room in Nashville, Tennessee. Um, uh, Sepia Tones was written in an alley behind the Regent Theater in Los Angeles, California. So perhaps where I was in unfamiliar territory.
Okay.
I was expressing unexpressed darkness within myself.
Okay. That's
And
pretty great.
if we gotta do this. If we're not talking about that sort of stuff, then what are we talking about? And especially sonically, it's something very different. From the beginning of my career, I knew that I did not want to rest on my laurels or a sound or try to chase something that worked, because we were fortunate enough to where the first thing that we put out worked and people loved it. And I didn't want my favorite artists were the ones that constantly evolved and gave you something that you didn't expect.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I will continue to do as an artist and as a creative, is that I will always look to give what is unexpected. So I'm always observant of the universe and in a certain situation to provide that unexpected art. But that's still true. It's not untrue. It's not a lie. It's not a facade. It's not different for different sake. It's just unexpected. It's just surprising. It's where you least expect it, but what you most need.
Yeah, and it makes sense because it's part of you, you know? It's not that you're making it up from some part of from someone that you are not, you know? It makes sense because it is who you are, and we're made of so many shades, you know, in colors, and you know, so that's interesting what you're saying, because we might be expecting the same sound from our favorite artist because that's what we like, but whenever an artist or our favorite artist changes a little bit about his sound or his kind of writing, it's okay because he's still a human, you know, and he's letting us to share like his professional ride, you know, or well, professional journey, you know. You're sharing your personal journey with us through your music, and you know. And I got a question, Mehro. Why choose Weird Throb as a title of it? I tried. I tried to Google and to look up for the meaning, and I didn't found nothing. You know, I know what weird is, I know what throb is, but together, I think it's something that you actually made up that makes sense to you, isn't it?
I did make it up.
Yeah. Okay.
The word never existed before,
Uh-huh.
which is fascinating. That two words that are so common, just putting them together, had never been thought of, never existed, never been seen as an idea before. And what it means to me, well, I would love to know, did you come to any conclusion, or are you completely in the dark? You have no idea.
Is I got like my conclusions, you know, from what I've read, you know, I know what weird is, and throb is like some kind of movement, isn't it? Like heart throb, you know, but I can, but my mind or my Spanish, in my Spanish, it doesn't make any sense, you know. That's why I was curious to ask you.
Well, okay.
Okay.
It means a lot of different things. First of all, it can mean anything that anybody wants it to mean because it's a word that doesn't exist, right? So
Okay.
that's number one. and there's a lot of different sides that we can go to this. So I've always felt different. I've always felt that I'm not just straight down the middle centered, you know. I don't think that I'm meant for quote unquote everybody necessarily, right? And there, I believe, are artists and people that fit that same exact sort of idea. Rather than shooting for the middle, they're doing something different. And I would consider those people weird throbs rather than heartthrobs.
Okay.
So there's people, for example, there's someone in your life, you don't have to reveal it in public. There's somebody who you had a crush on as a kid, or somebody that somebody that made you curious, somebody that was attractive. It doesn't have to necessarily be physical, but something that was like, wow, well, what is that?
Yeah.
And it's not down the middle. It's not something that you could share with everybody, because if you tried to explain it to people, they'd be like, what? Ew, that's weird. That's a weird throb.
Oh my God. Now everything makes sense. It's like something in, okay, I'm going to tell it in Spanish.
Okay, please.
Es cuando alguien tiene ese no sé qué, que qué sé yo. It's like when someone or something has something that you know you like it, but you don't know what is it. It's like ese no sé qué, que qué sé yo.
Yeah.
It's like there's something, you know, that maybe your soul or maybe something within makes you a little bit of yeah, it's make something in within. Okay, now I get it. Yeah, but you can express that.
But that's just one layer.
Okay.
Because the other layer too is that weird as a word in English is defined as supernatural or uncanny. And the word throb is the foundation of our heartbeat, which is the most normal, regular thing that you could imagine. So it's combining something supernatural with something that is normal, something that is regular as well, which is what life is, which is what living is, which is what human beings and a soul being trapped into the human body is. That's what the spiritual limitless and the physical limitations of life.
Wow. My head's exploding, Mehro. You know? But do you recall that moment when that made sense to you? You know? Like when the concept maybe or when you felt that like oh, now I get it.
When the word came, I just loved the word. I didn't question anything else about it. It was when people were asking about it that you had to come to these realizations of like, why do I like this word? Why does it make sense to me? And by doing research, you realize, oh yeah, because your subconscious is so powerful. I'm sure my subconscious understood that immediately upon when the word came, because I was just I just parked outside of my home, and I was in the car, and the word came as a concept a couple of years ago, but I've realized this is as I've been speaking to people and been wondering what weird throb is. I don't tell people outright. I only tell people that ask, because if they don't ask, if they're not curious, why would I share that information with them?
Yeah, no, that's yours, you know?
Right. Right. I would not.
Thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing, Mehro. Really, really was so nice because I was like I was like searching and searching. Okay, now I'm gonna. Okay, there are two words together, but I've never seen that before. And thank you for explaining to me and to our audience what weird throb means to you, and it actually makes sense, and it's such a beautiful meaning now that you share it like this way. And talking about weird throb and talking about your tour, you've been what I saw 2 months on the road, 13 different countries, 39 cities to be exact, and Mexico City is your last stop. This Monday you're coming back. We're so happy to have you here once again. And do you have any kind of thoughts, reflections that come to your mind after all this journey, after all this whirlwind? And how does it makes you feel to wrap up this journey? Because I feel I've never been on a tour, but I imagine that it's like super busy agenda, and your mind might be like busy because it's city one day, and the next day is another different city, another gig, and it's like maybe too much. So what are your thoughts? And you're wrapping up your tour, the year is coming up to an end, so how are you feeling?
Fulfilled,
Okay.
deeply fulfilled, deeply grateful. I feel that I have I reached a certain level within myself that I didn't know would be possible if I didn't go on this tour. And as a performer, as a singer, I've never felt this way about myself before. Oh, gosh, it's it just pushed me to it's pushed me to a certain level within myself that I didn't know I didn't know I was capable of going there, which felt and it was daunting at times, it was scary at times, and I'm so glad that it happened. I'm so glad that we did it. I learned a lot about myself this year, so much, and that comes with heartbreak, that comes with pain, that comes with mistakes. But those, we see all those things as negatives, but really I see them as gifts if I want them to be. And this tour experience was, I'm so glad that we did it, and I'm also so glad that I can close that chapter as well. I
Okay.
got to live that experience. I don't need to relive it
Yes.
because I got to live it because I was present. I wasn't, and I told everybody from on the tour, don't dream it's over. Like, don't hope for the end. Just live right now and have all these things to look forward to. Enjoy it.
Don't be sad because it's over, just be happy because it happened, you know, that phrase that it's like so sad in the world, but it's so true, and we forget about that. The only thing that we have, it's the present, you know. I relived your interview with Miguel, you know, and you talked about, actually, about that you can't live in the past, but you also can't live in the future, you know. It's like anxiety and depression, past and present, past and future, you know. So it's so nice to hear you, that you that I sense that you're proud of yourself, proud of your work, proud of what you did, you know. Because I tell you this because before being in this Zoom with you, I got a session with my therapist, with my shrink.
Us. Okay. Interesting. I have a question about that. Keep going.
Okay, maybe you could and and we were talking about, actually, you know, I tend to be like so logic, you know, as I was telling you. I gotta do this and I gotta do it right because there's no you know, I like to do things right. And we were talking about that. Hey, just stop. Talk to your little Natalia that lives in your heart and say, hey, you're enough. You're doing great. You don't need like anyone to tell you that you are valuable, you know, and that you have to be proud of what you've done and what you have achieved. And it's funny because that comes to my mind, that you're like in ease with yourself, and that you're grateful and that you're proud of what you've done and what you're doing right now. And like closing this chapter of this Weird Throb tour, and being at ease, you know, it's wonderful. And for me, at least, it's something hard to achieve, you know. So congratulations for ending the year like this. And I was not wrong about getting to talk to you, because I thought that it was going to be a great conversation, and it has been a great conversation. Mehro, thank you so much for this.
Thank you. Thank you. What the question I was going to ask you, before I knew that you were seeing your therapist, the question I was going to ask was, are you always this emotionally intelligent? Like in all of your life, or do you happen to be emotionally intelligent in this conversation with me today? Do you always live with this level of emotional intelligence, is my question to you.
Okay, what a great question. Yes, I've always been I've been emotionally intelligent all my life since I was a kid, you know. I'm the third girl we're four siblings, you know. I'm the third one. The sister above me, she has Down syndrome. and getting to live with this human being, which is really, it's the best gift in my life. But it gave me another sensibility, another sense how to sense life, you know, and how to see people. I've always liked things that comes with emotions, you know, getting the chance to talk on the radio, you know, you have to connect. And how do you connect? Through feelings, you know, you connect with us through your music. At the end, there are feelings. So I've also grown a lot on the couple last years, yeah, due to the fact that I've seen my therapist. Also, I got like, you know, some skin problems. I got a heartbreak, you know, a bad relationship. My mom passed away. And, you know, but as you said, you cannot grow if it doesn't, you cannot love, or you cannot grow, you cannot like thrive if you don't let yourself to feel the pain and to see like those dark shades inside of you. So yes, I've always been emotionally intelligent. And because of that, that's why I like to talk to you guys, artists, to get to know the person behind the artist. Because the artists, we have it there with your music, you know? We have it there, but we're so blind and we don't care that much to get to know you guys through your music. But you're giving us all the clues of who you are and what you were living and what were you feeling through your music. So that was it.
Right. That's a beautiful answer, and I'm so sorry to hear about your mommy. And thank you for telling me that. And yeah, I think you're wonderful. I think you're wonderful.
Mehro, you too. Really, it was so nice to get to talk to you. I think that we could be like talking and talking and talking all day long.
Probably.
But thank you so much, because I really felt that you that we got the chance to get to know each other a little bit better, that we connected. And I wasn't wrong about my Mehro X-ray. And so last question, because they're going to kill me because of the time. So are you ready for Monday? What can we expect for the show this Monday in Mexico City?
I'm very ready for Monday. I'm very excited for Monday. What can you expect? I think that you can expect to leave the show flabbergasted. Do you know this word?
No, yeah, I was about to ask.
You can leave the show saying wow.
Okay. It's gonna blow up our minds. Or
That
not.
might be a lot. That might be a lot of pressure. That might be a lot of pressure on myself. But you know what?
Sorry.
But yeah, I believe in us like that. I believe that we're gonna give you a show of that caliber, of that level.
Okay, so maybe it's like, okay, our expectations are gonna be fulfilled.
Yeah, have whatever expectations you'd like to have.
Yeah, and you know what, people, we have to go without expectations to show, so we're gonna have like the best time of our lives.
I hope that you go with no expectations.
Okay, but
yes.
So okay, if we go with no expectations for life, every expectation is gonna be fulfilled. What you say about that, Mehro?
I love it.
Okay.
I love it. Who needs expectations? I love it.
Okay, Mehro, it was so nice to talk to you. Thanks for being here with us once again in Match. Hope to see you soon in person, and have a great show. Have a great wrap up of 2025, and we'll be talking anytime soon.
I can't wait until you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Thank you.